first, so I can go back.
Do what?
Football gets it going first, so I can go back.
Okay, I'll do that. Yes, sir.
Sorry.
There's other people that I doesn't get one.
On the coaching message, when we do the athletics, we'll get up. Just so we get back to practice. We do that to operations first.
I saw them and
But I think we have to have a motion to rearrange.
I think I told my wife we had to move it.
At 6 o'clock, we'll go ahead and start the meeting. We're going to start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I
Salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and to the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular board meeting of the Lordsburg Municipal Schools, October 18th, 2021. May I get approval of the agenda? It has been requested that we do move under reports. We're going to go ahead, if we can move athletics before operations report. Any objections?
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Okay, motion by Mr. Morelos. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gomez. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Approval of minutes from the regular meeting of September 20th, 2021. Is there any questions or comments regarding those? There's no questions or comments. I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented for September 20th, 2021. I'll make that motion. Motion by Mrs. Esquivel. May I get a second?
I'll second it, Madam Chair.
Second by Mr. Morelos. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Reports. We'll start with athletic reports.
Hello, guys. Thank you for letting me go. I appreciate it. Athletics right now, I think you guys should have got basketball schedules. I think we got them right, and pretty excited about our schedules. I think we have really, really good schedules. We're still short on our girls basketball tournament. I don't know if I think I might have wrote that in there. Trying to find another team. We had a team back out, cancel out, and I'm praying no one else does. And I think a lot of teams are canceling a lot of their tournaments because of COVID, because of motel rooms. So anyway, hopefully that doesn't happen with other teams. Volleyball, they just finished up Mescalero. They won the first two and lost the last three, but they're starting to compete. And I'm pretty proud of our volleyball team, because our volleyball team, guys, we graduated a lot of good girls, and I'm really proud of our girls. They're improving. I don't know if you guys got watching their games, but it was pretty good. It was on the NFHS site, and that's another thing I'm looking at. And obviously, I'll let the boss have that, and run it by you guys. Putting our NFHS cameras up too for our stuff too. I just got all the information a couple days ago. Football, yeah, we lost a heartbreaker. So we lost our district championship on Friday, but I don't know. I'm pretty excited because I feel we really lost that game. But I don't think they really beat us. We beat ourselves in that game, and that's exciting because Tularosa is definitely probably #1 team in the state, and I think we can play with them, and hopefully, God willing, we'll get another chance in football to meet them in the playoffs. And we got a big game this week against Cafeteria. I don't know if you guys can make it, but to say it's a big game is an understatement. It's the biggest game in the state next week, and for seeding anyway for playoffs. Because right now the winner will be in the playoffs, but the loser, whoever loses, it's a coin toss. So we get in or not get in. We'll just have to see. And I think we'll make a lot of ruckus. I think Capitan will too in the playoffs, because I think we have the top three besides Jalen units in the state. Any other sport issues? I'm trying to think of volleyball going on. No, do you guys have any questions? You never sports? Anything going on? I know it's kind of just volleyball and football right now, but we're about to be going on basketball soon, so I'm excited about that. But thank you for letting me go first, guys. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yep, we all good?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Next item will be operations report.
Any questions on operations before we see, or do you floor plan in for kind of what we're proposing for the office in vestibule, but it's this, have we got the ones with the concrete out front yet?
Yeah, they're gonna, put one with benches, concrete benches, and 5 of them will go alternating out front in between the front doors and prevent the view.
And I figured that'd be more cost effective than planters, concrete planters. But it would look much nicer than the red,
Yeah.
those. So as soon as we get those in and everything, we'll send them out to you. But this is just the plan for what they want to do with the office and the vestibule. We'll show the existing and what the proposed. Any questions on any of them?
I have one short question. I'm just going to why for one. How was 32 students doing that are enrolled in this online?
That would probably be your question.
Okay.
Our high school students are good. We have 3 that actually participating very much, but the other students are doing real well. They're A's and B's on their assignments. And it's just one of those courses that you just have to make sure you get on every day, put in the adequate amount of time, and then you should be able to keep up with it. But if you don't, then you struggle and you get behind, and it's hard to catch up. And the only way you catch up is putting more time in to make up that lost time. So other than that, successful. And then also, Mrs. Garza's, for the DTMS students, Mrs. Garza's monitoring their grades and things along with Patrick. So they're doing well. The majority of our students are doing well, better than what I thought they might do. I thought that they're gonna take those 7 ingenuity classes and kind of fall behind, the majority of them, but it's just the opposite. Everybody,
Thank you, sir.
people being successful.
I just had a follow-up on the incident from this earlier this week, last week, everybody okay?
The 2 are gonna do follow-up with records of the doctor. One was kind of an ankle and the other one maybe a back, or they're not for sure. I don't know the experience you had.
Yeah, my understanding is, the student I had, they're scheduled to go see a doctor on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. Can't speak for the younger one, he's at RBC, but he did speak to the other day. He seems to be doing well. Took his pictures today. He's in good spirits, and thank God that no one else was hurt.
Good. Thank you.
Any damage to the bus that needs to be addressed?
Yeah.
A little
It's all
bit.
cosmetic. They took it to Department of Transportation to do a courtesy inspection. The bus structure is good. It's just cosmetic damage and hospital. It's good to still be serviced. And we had our inspections today. She played it as well. It's good.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments regarding operations report? Now we'll go ahead and start with building reports.
Okay, we can start with DTMS.
Good evening to all of you. I'm so used to having Dr. Amador go ahead of me, and take all the air out of the room. Sorry, Dr. Amador, if you're watching. My board report is very simple, just put a few things down for you to see where we are as far as the calendar. We did have, parent student conferences this Friday. I asked for preliminary data on that. We came in at about 81% attendance rate at this point. We still have a few of our staff still meeting with parents at this point, and we'll probably have better data at the end of the week. So I'm thinking possibly over 90%. We did have 3 teachers that were at 100%. So that's what we shoot for in all of them. I think what's hurting us, to be quite honest with you, because we didn't do any in-person, it was all through remote. And I think the communication issue, the Wi-Fi and such, did hurt us. I did encourage staff to use telephone as well, email, telephones, smoke signals, whatever it takes to get to the parents. So we're continuing to do that. And give them an idea, what works for me is I stand up front in the morning when parents drop kids off, and I catch parents all the time. And so just a simple invitation, that works for me. And so I told staff, you should try it, it works. And so we're working on that, and the communication piece is there. So I'm real happy with that. We're not quite done. We will continue to work on that for not only the parents, but for the students and our staff. They need to communicate in that way. So that worked pretty well. I thought it went well. The next part, we have our after-school program. We did get that 21st century grant. So we're bringing those programs in. And I just focus on the 4 that we have in place right now. The actual last one with the New Mexico Environmental Awareness Program, that should come online here pretty soon. And that is focused more on 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, whereas the other 3 are some of the younger groups. What I like about it is we do a good 45 minutes of tutoring along with that. So we get to dinner, then we do the tutoring. Also, I have 3 other teachers that are doing just tutoring. They're not part of this program. They're just doing tutoring. That would be Ms. Brady, Ms. Montier in math, and then also Mr. Lucero, who's one of the 3 teachers. So in addition to the after school, the 21st century grant program, we're doing some tutoring as well. So that so far has worked pretty good. Also, just give you an idea of our student council. We finally got that. We finally voted on that, got that set. It was just hard because of the pandemic and just being able to transition into that. And so we are limited to some extent, although the kids are working real hard, and we're kind of thinking out of the box of how can we support our not only our staff but the student body. And so good group of kids, and we've met twice, and we're working on some things for Red Ribbon. We really get into that, and so that's the next step. That'll be next week. With that, just a couple of things that I noticed after the first 9 weeks, just as we came back, from the remote learning, it was difficult, not only of kids, but staff. But it was also real rewarding because kids are glad to be back into school. I'm not gonna lie to you, it is a little scary sometimes. I sent 9 kids home today due to different reasons. A lot of COVID-like symptoms. We just follow our protocol. Doesn't mean that they have COVID, but we just have to be real mindful, very careful in that. I will say both of our nurses do a pretty awesome job of that. And they're very helpful, and I've actually gotten good at it, having done it, so that you kind of know what to look for and what to work with. But it's just part of the job, and when that happens, rather than think about it, you just do what you have to do as an individual. I'm sure Mr. Robertson can attest to that as well. You just do your job. And so it's a little bit different. Kids have had to adjust to that. I will say stress levels are high, not only for staff, but for families, for parents as well, and for the kids. They're going through some pretty tough times right now, but we try to focus on what we have control over, not what we don't have control over. So kids are coming to school. It's nice to have them in school. It's certainly a challenge every day, yet I think we learned a lot from being in remote room. Just the focus on the use of technology. I had teachers that would not use technology, and now they're forced to do that, and they've grown tremendously. With that being said, you can cover a lot more material using, using computers and other other devices and such, the technology has been good. We've been forced to look at software and look at other things, so there are a lot of positives to that. And I think it's gonna hang around for a while. I don't think we'll go back to a lot of the things we did before. So in looking at a lot of positives there, I think one of the best things that we can do is just to be patient with kids. That has to be there, and we need to be flexible in saying so. So I try to model that, also try to reinforce that with our staff, but not to get upset at kids, be more patient with them, be flexible. They were out of school for about a year, and that's a long time. So that's part of it, communication with parents. Sometimes that's kind of hard, but you need to communicate with parents, and trying to be that role model and trying to communicate better with my staff. Also, just to focus on student and staff mental health through social emotional learning. And that's something that we're trying to work on. I think we'll continue to do that. And then just engaging students and making sure that they're comfortable as they come into the school. So that's something that we're working on. We'll continue to work on. When we have our professional development, we actually have someone that's going to work with our staff on that for maybe an hour, 2 hours, and then also what we need to look for in the students. And so we're getting better at that. It's been somewhat difficult, yet it's made us better teachers in doing so. So with that, I'll take any questions, any comments.
Out of curiosity, Mr. that bell choir, how is that going?
It's going good. We have a lot of interest there. And some of our eighth graders aren't able to take it because we're doing it at fifth grade now. And so we started it this way in fifth grade. And so the Miss Garza and Mr. Lucero's classes are going twice a week, and then they do 2 days of PE. And my intent there is to start at that young age and try to build on it. I don't know about you, but my vision for it is to develop there at the middle school and then carry that over to the high school. That would be great. If you've never heard the bell choir, it's just definitely. We got fifth graders doing that right now, going to class. They're excited about it, and so we have the materials. We have the teachers that can do that. And then in the 21st century after school program, Mr. Culberson's teaching that class because Mrs. Culberson is our site facilitator, so he's teaching it. So we're getting from 2 different teachers that have a good background in that. So I think it's a great program, and kids get excited. You see the fourth graders that came over last year, when they saw that, they thought, oh, wow. And so now they're actually participating in that. So good program. Thank you to Dr. Lucas, who really focuses on that as well. And he helped us tremendously. So we need to give credit where credit is due.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good question. Thank you.
Thank you. I have, so we went this way to go. I know you were worried about, should say worried, concerned about the grades or loss of learning during the remote learning.
Yes.
I'm just curious how grades are at the first level.
One of the things we had to take into consideration was, we had kids that have been exposed to COVID, so, they're out, and because not all of them have Wi-Fi at home or they don't have a device at home, we need to kind of, we mark it as COVID related, and then we have to get past that. We don't grade that material. For me, I think it's better to focus on the concepts that they missed, and not so much on the grades. So they can get that concept and move forward with that. That's what we're trying to do. And that's why we're encouraging them to come after school for tutoring. I have teachers that are tutoring before school, doing lunch, and just trying to catch up in that way. There is a lot of loss there. I was looking at it, yet I think because of the remote learning and what we learned from it, we can actually cover more through Google Classroom and Google Meet as we teach. So we do the hybrid. And so I've been reading a lot about that and trying to figure out what we can do better to get these kids caught up. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take, I would say we're at least a year behind. Okay? But some kids handle it better than others. And some kids were very successful with remote learning. I mean, they blossomed with that. And when they came back, they kind of fell by the wayside a little bit, but it's just motivating them, engaging them, and continuing to move forward in that. So all we can do is, again, patience, flexibility, making sure that they come to you, letting them know that we care. That's half the battle, motivating, they don't know we care and that they're important to this. And so try to model that for my staff. And we focus on positive and not always a negative. I could catch kids doing negative things all day long, every day. That gets old. We don't want to do that. It's not productive. So that's what it is.
The beginning of the year test, does that show more concept than actual grading? Because we're talking about the beginning of the year test, that shows where we're at, right? And
Right.
we're gonna hopefully compare that to before.
But,
pre-COVID, right?
right.
But does that actually show where we're at conceptually, or is that just another grading metric that?
No, it actually shows them where that, to some extent conceptually, you gotta look at it, and then the key is, well, we do it at the beginning, we'll do it again here within the next month or so, before we go on vacation and then at the end of the year. And so, I think it's very worthwhile. We'll see how much we grow with that respect. It just gives the teachers a little more data to work with. Where are they at? Where do we need to grow? What are the trends within the school? What do we need to work on as a school? So it's just different data points that we can work on. So it's a valid test. It's valuable, and glad we're doing it at this point.
Yeah, if we can see results, I think that would be.
I'd be more than happy to do that for you. Give you the first one and compare them to the second. That would be great. You'll have those as soon as we do the second test, and then we'll share them again at the end of the year.
Yeah, it'd be helpful, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
How are your students that are enrolled on online doing?
We have some, just like Mr. Robertson said, those that are putting in the work and are actually doing the work are doing very well. Okay, those that are not doing that are they're not going to do well, because you have to put the work in. The good thing that Ms. Garza, is she sends me weekly progress reports, and it actually tells you when they've been on, for how long, what time they got on, and so we track that, and then we start making phone calls. And so that's been effective, and I'm sure you do the same thing, Mr. Robertson does. But like I said, if they do the work, they can do very well. Those that kind of struggle with remote learning and then chose to go that route, they're struggling. I'm not going to lie to you. But the thing is, if they don't get on and if they're not doing the work, it's going to be very difficult for them. That's a good question. Just being honest with you, that's the way it goes, but the majority of them, they do very well.
As far as accountability goes, those students who are not trying, and you guys are seeing, that they're logging in 10 minutes a day or whatever it is. How does that accountability look for towards the end of the year?
It's kind of another year lost. If they're not doing the work, it's the same as you doing remote learning. So it's a choice. Now, I do have some, and I don't know if they're going to be allowed to do this. I want to come back again. They'd much rather come in person. We're encouraging that with some of them, giving us their friends and just the social aspect. But it's hard being at home in front of the computer all day and not being able to interact. So, we will allow that in January, and we'll get some back. I think if we do, we can run over it, we can be successful. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Yeah, we're just kind of carrying on. We did have our first parent teacher conference. The high school, since we don't have a big percentage of parents that do come to the parent teacher conference, we did have it open for in-person, online instead of meeting, email. So one thing that a lot of teachers did have a lot more contact with this time was emails, phone calls, You know, we had planned on doing Google Meets and things, but nobody wanted to do like a Zoom meeting or anything like that. But in person, we probably had maybe 10 parents come through the building. You know, one of the things we're going to try next time is, so one thing I try to get across to the parents is that, I mean, I'm not a big fan of parent-teacher conference, the 1 day thing. I mean, I want our parents to understand they can come tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just any time throughout the week. So, we do have some parents still coming in this week that, made appointments. But I would like to see more of that throughout the quarter. Because when we get to the end of the quarter, then it's the end of the quarter. And then if they have all these questions and concerns, well, we can only address them for going to the next quarter. So I really want to try to get that mindset changed of I want parents to be able to come in. Well, I mean, they do know that, we have an open door policy. They can come any time of the week, but I want them to be more available to do that. So the next time we do set up our parent-teacher conference, talking to the teachers, I don't know if it'll do any better or not if we go 4 to 8, 4 to 7, just maybe meeting with parents after hours, when they get off work. One thing also, I know that, we're a 4-day work week and we all try to set I'd rather have my teachers set their appointments up on Fridays, because I don't like teachers, I don't like nobody to miss work. But, so sometimes it's hard whenever you're trying to schedule these things and, doctor's offices now, a lot of them are closed on Fridays, but it's hard to get in or set a schedule. If you don't get the schedule that you need, it might take off. So I know we had a few teachers that needed to take off early, and, I was one of them. Not because I had an appointment, but I was going to hit 2 of those football games. But some of them had appointments. Some had appointments early in the morning, and they came back, in the mid-morning so that they meet with the teacher, meet the parents and things. So it's just kind of a hit and miss type thing. That's why I would like our parents to just understand if you have any questions, concerns. Because we do reach out to them. I reach out to them. Teachers reach out to them just to say, hey, come by. It's just that we still have a lot of participants, during our parent-teacher conference, but we'll continue working on that. Of course, we did, send out our report cards for the 9 weeks. Kind of broke it down. I was kind of happy in a sense. It might not sound great, but so 30% of our student body ended up with A's and B's. 30% of our student body. 39% ended up with A, B, C's, and D's. 11% of our students ended up with 1 F, but the average of that F was a 57. So if you talk to some of the students at Lordsburg, I'm fired up when they got a high F, because that high F is the good way to get to that D, especially for the next quarter, where they can pass the semester. Because, the quarter grades are important, so important, to have that high F. So that second quarter, you can pass your semester. Because if somebody could have 58 all the way through the first 9 weeks and still pass the semester, get their credits. And that's what we're wanting to do. We did have 20% of our students had 2 or more Fs. Now, the students that had 2 or more Fs, again, parents kind of question on this, but it's a good F. The good high Fs, but with the 3 or more, they were the bad Fs. And the thing is, we did have a lot of freshmen in this category, simply just because it's a new, transition. There's expectations everywhere, but it's kind of like we talked about, all schools real, but now, every class you take counts, the credits count. We got to make sure we get it done. And we have a lot of kids that just have a hard time completing the work. Not a hard time completing the work, but just don't complete the work. Have a hard time keeping them after school. Have a hard time meeting with their, make sure they meet with the teachers. Have a hard time getting the parents to make sure they come in and talk to us about, what's going on with their students. And so, that's a continual concern. And that's the work, we're always looking for ways to do different, and I don't know how to do it any differently, except call, email, talk to them whenever we see them at games, wherever I see them, just always conversing about how the kids doing or what we need to do. Kids get sick of me because I'm always, hey, you still have this, hey, you still have this, hey, you still have this. But it's just, sometimes I get to just say, hey, how you doing? And I'm just like, hey, you still have this assignments, hey, you still got this grade, you gotta get this up. But even though this is said, I believe this was a good 9 weeks. I felt it was successful. I felt we had more kids completing work. Felt we had more kids getting work done and getting those passing grades. Now we just got to work hard for this next 9 weeks. Teachers do a good job. They're there after school every day, available, and just got to keep on getting our students more comfortable with showing up. And like our sophomores and seniors, it's different. You tell, or you can't see the difference of their maturity, and they understand about, hey, I'm getting behind a little bit, I need to stay and get that going. So we're still working with our freshmen on that. But that's it about the grades and the parent-teacher conference. Tomorrow, our juniors and seniors will be going to the Western New Mexico University College Fair. So they'll be leaving at 8. And they don't feed lunch no more, so they'll be back. They should be back before lunch. We did have a FAFSA plan for last week. We had to cancel it because Western New Mexico University, some of their office personnel that were going to come, situate, the conflict of the schedule. So they're going to be coming back this Thursday from 6 to 8 as for our seniors to fill out the FAFSA forms. And they're there to help and support and give feedback to the parents and the teachers. And the parents and the students. And then this Wednesday, we're also having our 9 to 11 pictures being taken. Compost is coming in to take those pictures. We did have the Pyramid Coalition held our first SHAC, our Student Health Advisory Committee meeting with the students. And so the students came up, and so they're just trying to make awareness and then within the community of how we can give out information and let people know about the different types of resources we have available for our students, and then of course for our community also. So it's a good thing. They're coming in. They're trying not to overwhelm our students by after school all the time. So trying to get it once a month, maybe once every 2 months a meeting. But they'll always be sending emails out to each other with ideas and things like that, just to kind of make sure that we're staying involved. So they came up with some good ideas about how to get some information out. We're going to be having our fall dance, harvest homecoming dance or something. And we're going to be having it, we're going to go ahead and do it out at the North Park. We cleared it with the city. We wanted it outside. We didn't want to have it inside. We want to make sure we're outside. Masks can be worn, but then we don't, it's not a mandate to have masks. It's from 8 to 10. And city's going to have the park already for us, and then the student leadership team will be setting it up for the dance that night. So we're hoping that's a successful dance. Talking to some parents. We tried to start the parent advisory committee before the COVID came, and now I've kind of talked with some parents that I talked to that were kind of participated before, and we're going to try to get that going again, just so we can get more parent involvement in the school, and knowing there are activities for them to help out with, different things, whether it's getting supplies or just organizing things or just helping out with an activity. We kind of started it, like I say, but we had like maybe 9 or 10 people the first couple meetings, and it kind of went down to like 7 to 6, and ended up like being about 3. Then so I just kind of said, we'll come back whenever we get back to school. So now that back to school, we'll go ahead and try to get that going again. And we're just, like I say, my main concern, or my main, just get aggravated is just, making sure that we get parents more involved in the kids' school, school day and their activities, and just help out with their grades and assignments and getting things, things like that done. So I think we have a great relationship with our parents, and I think they feel comfortable talking to me for sure, and then, most of our teachers, so. We just gotta keep on kind of pressing, and hopefully we can start working that. And then with our teachers, all of our teachers are completed their professional development plan, and that's just a teaching strategy they're gonna try to improve on throughout the year. Improve, lessons and just student success. And of course, we started our observations where our teachers were. As a principal, we had one classroom, here's the teachers teaching the lesson, and just feedback and see what we can do to improve. I know our teachers have done a lot from the COVID. They have learned a lot using the Google Classroom, Google Meets, and so they utilize that now. Our district was fortunate enough to get laptops, so all of our classes that have asked for laptops have the laptops, so the students can go in, the laptop, open the Google Classroom, and follow along with the lessons right there as the teacher teaches. Instead of books, it's kind of computers. We still use books, and then of course, then it's just what's nice. It's sad when our students have to stay home for specific reasons, but we provided laptops, so they're able to get on Google Classrooms with the teachers, so they can be successful still at home. If they've got to stay at home, and that's worked out. And then again, that's where we've had some students really struggle when they've been out, but we've had a higher percentage of students still be successful because they continue, doing the work, meeting with the teachers, and make sure they're staying on track. So it's just a maturity that we have with some of our students, and it's just something we have to continue to work on. But with the students, I really believe they know that the teachers are there to help and support with high expectations. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you.
Adam is out at the training today tomorrow, so questions on his, let me know when I can do that.
I think I have a question for I guess Dr. Lucas or Ryan, I don't know. But every principal here is asking for more for Zoom or Google. Is there like a way that we could spend our funding with cameras, like upgrade the technology for those kids that are on quarantine to follow along with the teacher at the same time?
Well, they can take
or-
the computer from home, but we're not. The state has provided funding for parents, and if the parents take the initiative, they can get $50 and so they can get internet at home for free. There's no sense for us to spend our money for somebody's internet when if they take a little bit of initiative, they can get that internet for themselves for free and then we keep that money elsewhere. But we have that, if somebody goes home, we can issue them.
Yeah, I was just making it easier for them to still follow along with the teacher.
Right,
in
yeah.
the
No, they
classroom
can-
and-
And some do the packet, some.
Yeah, well, some kids ask for hard copies, so teachers will print out hard copies and somebody will get it. But yeah, as of right now, with students being home, we're not, how we did the remote, before we were actually back to school where teachers in the classroom and projecting and everybody was at the house following lessons. That's one of the things where, we haven't moved in that.
Right, they can put the assignments onto the Google Classroom and then they can go look at the assignments and see what.
It works better at the elementary level because they have one teacher, and so you can take that Chromebook and send it home. It doesn't work as well at the secondary level because each teacher just has a certain set, so you send one of the computers home and it's not available for the other classes. We can't do that. I have about 5 to 6 computers that I've worked with, and so as kids need them, I send them home and then they bring them back. Brenda feels good about that. She works miracles and she has stuff that it's a little more difficult at the secondary level.
But the technology they're talking about, I think, was their internet access.
Okay. No, I was just
And
asking
we send,
what way we could.
we
be
send
more helpful.
information out to parent square and posted it on the, what is that program called, Ryan? Do you remember offhand, the $50 that they get for internet services? Yeah, so that is available to any.
Is that, they have to qualify because if they have.
So it is income based. However, since we're a Title I district, any family here should be able to do that. It is not their top tier internet. It's not going to do with that.
There's a separate program called ES, the Emergency Connectivity Fund. And that's in kind of conjunction with EBB. So when EBB runs out, we can provide mobile hotspots to students for internet service. But the tricky part is we can't do it now because if they're getting EBB benefits, we can't allow them to get the EFC benefits. So they rise up.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on? I'll have them expand on these next.
Next item would be cafeteria report.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Lucas. I have something that came in the mail today. It's from the governor. We have been participating in a fresh fruit and vegetable program from the state of New Mexico. It's a grant that we do get from the state, and we have to spend that money on local produce and vegetables and fruits, and we're trying to grow New Mexico agriculture. Obviously, a lot of our food comes from providers that are national, but we're trying to grow the program here locally. So today on all of our menus, we had fresh cantaloupe that was grown here in Silver City. The kids are really liking some of those fresh options. We're getting lots of really good apples right now as well. So the governor did recognize us as being, we've been doing this for about 3 years. And this year we got $5,000, but instead of just $5,000, we're trying to use the grant and then use a little bit more money to continue to buy from those producers. We're not just trying to use the grant and then go back to our national provider. So that was something that came in the mail today. It's a good program that we're hoping we can start getting some funding for possibly some community gardens and get some things going again. I'm not sure if you guys have had them in the past, but get the elementary some gardens and get the kids kind of involved in a little bit more of where their food comes from. So this was it's a nice grant that we got, and the program is really, really growing, and it's really good for our state, we believe. So I just wanted to share that. Again, that came in today. And we're excited for it to continue to grow, and hopefully we continue to get more money for that. I did give you guys a financial statement that we could go over. There's a little bit of less meals, as you can see by the financial statement, compared to last year. Last year, when we first started the school year, we were allowed to do Friday meals and then as well as weekend meals, just because we didn't really know what was going on. So our meal counts were a little bit higher then. That's the big discrepancy if you see the difference. Because we are an SSO and the entire country is an SSO, which is seamless summer. It's just an easier way to take care of the kids, but like I had said, they did cut the snack program out, which we normally run. And so when we go back to hopefully NSLP next year, we'll go to breakfast, lunch, snack during the school day, and then the dinner program that we're trying to help with 21st Century. So again, that was one of the programs they did take from us, but at some point when we kind of get back to normal, that would be something that does come back as a bonus for the kids. We are starting our fresh fruit and vegetable program, which is completely different than the New Mexico Grown I just explained. This is going to be for RV trailer and then DTMS and Central. We're going to set up, well, for RV trailer, we're going to send 2 to 3 times a week in the afternoon. We're going to send fresh fruits and vegetables from all around the world. It is a grant that we do get, so we're going to be sending it to the classroom for those guys. And then for the middle school, we're going to set up a nice farmer stand looking table, and then we're going to put out fruit there twice a week, and then the kids can grab it as they please. We really are going to put some good signs up that tell them what it is, the benefits of it, where it comes from, and just encourage them to try it. I think, I've seen where some kids we've put plums on the line and kids are like, what's that? And it's not an everyday fruit, but it is, I would think, a little more available than you would think. So we're just gonna try and get them to try different things. So that is a program that'll be starting next week. That program runs off of the federal fiscal year, so we couldn't start it till October 1st. So that will be through the rest of the school year, and we have about $12,000 for that to run from now until then. Last time I was here, we did talk a little bit about the start of the school year and just some things that just were out of the norm for us, for kids, for teachers, just kind of for everybody. And we're hoping that we're somewhat getting back to normal. And again, every day is different. I'm sure you've seen the supply issue problems affecting the world. Those have been affecting us for the last 3 or 4 months. It's finally hitting the shelves in local grocery stores a little bit more, as you've seen, but we are trying to just navigate those waters. Options are back up and we're offering more options. But again, sometimes parents or students may come to you guys before they come to us. So if there's anything that I can address, again, that's what I will be here monthly for, and just working with the staff to make sure that we're giving the kids what they like and then trying to give them fresh and just different options. So I can open up for questions if anybody has any questions, or if there's anything you guys would like to see. I would say we're kind of getting into the flow of the new school year, and we're just trying to navigate the issues with supply shortages.
I do appreciate the efforts that have been done since our last conversation. I think the feedback has been it's getting better. I think there's still room for improvement.
Sure.
I do want to thank Dr. Lucas. When there was a change in the menu, I reached out to him. It was maybe 2 days after our meeting, and he started putting those changes on Parent Square. So I think that was very proactive of you. So thank you. The fresh fruit, it's a great balance, especially for a lot of that prepackaged food for breakfast.
Yes, sir.
So that's really good, and those lunch options are good. My only question was, as far as adding additional support to the cafeteria, has any of that been done? Like, for example, for the middle school?
As far as staffing?
Yes. For like a two-assist RDT, with helping to keep their schedules on track.
As far as I know, we have had a case of COVID, exposure to COVID. So we did have our delivery driver out for 2.5 weeks. That really kind of put us behind, but I haven't heard of anything as far as your schedule being off. I apologize, I have to ask you. It's just weird right now, and I think we've gotten better at our processes. I think 3 of our 7 staff are brand new this year, so that first month was kind of crazy. And then when we get products in, and just to use an example, we order chicken fried steak, and then we'll have chicken fried steak bowls with potatoes and a side vegetable. Well, last week we got an order and it came in raw. Well, we don't fry anything. So sometimes when there's an adjustment or a substitution, they don't tell us until it comes in. And those are some of the things that the staff were dealing with, and new processes with, on top of it, things not matching our recipes. Our recipes have a specific quantity and quality and measurement for poundage or number of pieces. And then when you get something that's different, it just was throwing our staff off a little bit. So I know that just us, and when we did talk last time, our order will come in tomorrow, and that order will be for next Monday through the following Monday. So we know tomorrow if the truck was changed. I can tell you, I placed the order today myself. Everything was saying it was allocated that I ordered. They're depending on trucks to come in probably today, this morning, thinking that those items would be available. And if they're not, we won't know till tomorrow. And we'll make adjustments for next week's menu. And that is helping with us getting that information out. But as far as timing and the things that we were doing there, again, some of it was products just changing and then us trying to make adjustments on the quick end of it. And I think that us ordering in advance has definitely helped.
I definitely, I think that I see some improvement. I think that we just need to keep that consistency. there,
Absolutely.
And definitely encourage you to keep working with our principals as much as possible to ensure that, they were staying on track, especially with their schedules.
And
Because the last time that I had attended DTMS, the lines were pretty big. It was only 2 staff members, so I'm not sure if an additional one would help. But I think that assessing that stuff and really working with the principals could make a difference.
absolutely. And again, yeah, we had one of our main ones was out for the last 3 weeks because of exposure and the protocol. And he's our delivery driver, so that kind of threw us for a loop. But I will make sure that we have plenty of support. And then the staff, again, is getting more familiar with paperwork, recipes, sizes, and then we know changes, 3, 4, 5 days in advance, which I think has really helped them.
And as far as this, I definitely appreciate the local support. I think this is something that's thank you.
So, and then another thing that I'm working with NMDA is protein. So we're doing fruits and vegetables. Well, I'm looking at trying to get more local beef, swine, chicken. And so we're looking at, and Dr. Lucas and I had the conversation earlier about FFA, but we would love to try and get a program like that started and help some of these kids maybe with upfront costs to get some capital to buy a pig and then raise it and then take it to the fair and sell it and just get the kids involved more in that. So that's something that I'm personally working with NMDA right now to make sure that they'll accept it. It's hard to buy local because that kid may not be insured for it. You know what I mean? They may not go through the protocol of USDA, but that's something that we're working on. And we're excited to hopefully bring that to the state of New Mexico and then get protein added to that as well.
Thank you.
My last other thing is we did receive a $7,000 emergency fund last month. It is not on this financial statement because it did come in late, but looking at last year's numbers, the $7,000 emergency fund payment was to pay us back 2 cents for every meal from last year, just because of the skyrocketing prices of food. Prices are, I don't know if you've seen the price of chicken lately, but holy cow. There are some things that are just mind numbing and, and then on our level, it can really make your budget go up. So that was something that was on that will be on next month's financial statement. Other than that, I am going to bring out a chef with our company to spend a couple of days here too, to just work with the staff and just make sure that we're giving people training and we're just getting people comfortable with some of the things that we do. I know I was in the high school all day today and we had a nice conversation, just making sure that the kids are liking what they eat and just trying to get away from that prepackaged. I am very, very much against it, but it was somewhat of a convenience / just kind of keeping people spread apart for the time being. And again, now that I think our processes are evening out, I think things should get back to normal and you should just see it continue to grow.
Thank you.
Thank you for your help.
So just a quick comment on the high school quality. My son left it a couple of weeks ago. So during the return of investment, last one there. Keep it up.
Absolutely. And then again, maybe I'll get with student council and I'm going to start showing these kids to help me build menus and then let them see the finer points of it. Because I don't just say, chicken nuggets here and then this there. I mean, I got to balance it. And then one last thing is we did get audited over the summer, and I should have brought this up, but we were audited over the summer and 0 findings, and they said everything was great. And our last health inspections, which were a couple of weeks ago, for all 4 locations, high school, DTMS, RV trailer, and then our main kitchen, just flawless. So again, I think we're getting back to normal, and I'll address you guys every month as I am now, and just looking forward to things. And we were talking about Thanksgiving. I think we may have the conversation if we're allowing parents to come, and we're going to do something like that. If not, and the community still likes the meal, we were thinking about maybe just doing a drive up and selling to-go plates.
Like we did last year.
Like we did last year. So again, those are some of the conversations we're having. If we want to have parents, I know that would be a nice a nice somewhat back to normal, but it could also be something that we kind of shy away with from this year. So those are some of the things that we're looking into right now.
If I could throw a suggestion, it's something like baking for the holidays would probably be, a nice treat for the kids if, something should be done.
Well, and now again, that I feel more comfortable coming in and being closer with us being able to sit closer to each other. We'd love to get back to our little roving chef classes with the kids. I remember the kids at DTMS just loved when I brought the stir fry and they got a stir fry over an open flame, and just those things are coming back as well. So we'll definitely do some stuff for the holidays, and then we'll do that. So please, again, Dr. Lucas has my number and we talk quite frequently. If you guys hear something, I would rather address it. If you hear it tomorrow, I'd rather address it tomorrow than in the November board meeting. So if you guys hear anything, please just let us know. Again, we're here to make sure that the kids enjoy coming into the cafeteria.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, just one of the things that Rex has done for the high school, as long as we communicate with them, is that like our trips, our volleyball, football, as long as we get hold of them, they make a little snack back for the kids to take,
Nice.
fruit, juice and everything, so that's nice. As long as we do our part.
Yeah, you guys just give us a heads up.
So it's there for us to use, but sometimes like, play nothing around.
You guys can tell us morning of, and I'm sure we can get something put
They
together.
work well, just that way, so it's kind of nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, public forum. Next item will be Board of Education issues. Address today on that one. Consent agenda. Item A, approval of accounts payable and payroll liability transactions. Is there any questions or comments regarding?
I'm missing the second page, or are you guys missing the second page?
No.
I have 101, no, 103, 103, and 3. Okay.
I have one.
Uh-huh.
27,669. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't know. Did I miss it?
Yeah, that's, yeah, our school psychologist. And that's for additional hours she put in, because she's like she's not on a full contract, so she works more. We have to compensate for those. Any other questions?
Not for me, Susan.
Yeah, no, okay.
There's no other questions or comments regarding the accounts payable and payroll liability transactions. I'll go and accept there be a motion to approve it as presented. Motion by Mr. Morelos, may I get a second?
Also.
Seconded by Mr. Gomez. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, approval of budget adjustment requests.
So we have two bars. Let's see, the first one is it's another air quality grant for $10,500. It's the initial budget, and it is to buy programs to improve air quality. And that was a grant we got, part of the CARES money, but it's an additional, and there's an additional round coming up. We've got a deadline on it on Thursday, so I'll come to you tomorrow. And we should get, I don't know what the exact amount is. I think it's like another 9,000, another 9,000 for air quality. And then the next one is the ARC money that's CARES 3. And it's for basically $1.7 million, $1,747,107. It's so long because we had to take each category and break it down. And anything that had salaries had to do, we had to put it into benefits and retirement and everything else. But it is into the category that was on the grant was put in. It's just a lot more pages because there's a lot of information. This is the initial bar for it. And then once we get it board approved and then the state approves our bar, then we'll start spending.
Is there any questions regarding the two bars?
I have apologize, Dr. Newsom, I should have talked to you beforehand. Was this regarding the last CARES money that we did last meeting?
Yeah, the one at the last meeting.
Okay, I'll abstain, just a abundance of caution.
Okay.
Any questions or comments regarding the bars? There's no questions or comments. I will go ahead and entertain a motion to accept the budget adjustment requests as presented.
I'll make that motion to approve the budget adjustment request.
Motion by Mr. Esqueda. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Motion seconded by Mr. Gomez. All in favor?
Aye.
All abstain? Motion carries. Next item, discussion items, RBC overview of bond sale results.
Yes, RBC wanted to go over, the sale of the bond and, what our terms were and stuff like that. It looks like, is it Kelly?
Yes, good evening. I'm doing quite fine. How about yourselves? Good,
Go
good. So
ahead.
again, okay, I'll just jump right on into it. My name is Kaylee Weimer-Skirsch with RBC Capital Markets, your municipal advisor. All we're doing tonight is just going over the 2021 bond sale. Just very quickly, we just wanted to discuss, a brief overview of the sale. So the district received $1.5 million. We set rates with the New Mexico Finance Authority on August 30th, with the closing date being October 8th. The maturities range from 2022 to 2037, and the bonds are callable starting in 2031. The TIC was 1.089, which we're very pleased with, considering that currently the 10-year Treasury is at 1.6%. So we came in lower than the U.S. Treasury. The total interest on these bonds is $136,000 for a total payment of a debt service of about $1.6 million. It's also very notable, too, that the district did receive $150,000 at a rate of 0% through the NMFA's disadvantaged loan program. The second page of the presentation is just a really brief history of the true interest costs of the district's past bond sales. And again, we're still very close to record low rates in the market. And I stand ready for any questions if you have any.
Is there did you have that on your screen by chance, or was there any way you could share the screen or?
Oh, my apologies. I thought you guys had the presentation. Yes, I can absolutely share my screen.
Sorry.
Yeah. I don't have the ability to share my screen. It says the host needs to let me.
Second, we'll let you in here.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just a very brief presentation, just kind of going over what we had discussed. Again, the really big notable things is that this bond has maturities from 2022 to 2037, but the bonds can be callable starting in 2031. We had a true interest cost of, barely over 1%, which we're satisfied with, considering that the 10-year Treasury is currently about 1.6%. Continuing on with that low interest cost, there's only a total of $136,000 of interest on this $1.5 million borrowing. And again, the district did receive received $150,000 at 0% through NMFA's disadvantaged funding program. And so in the big picture of the district's bond sales, again, we're very, very low considering the historical rates that we're in right now. Any questions?
We thank you very much.
Okay, again, Madam President, members of the board, thank you again for your time. Congratulations to the district on the successful bond sale. And if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to us at any point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will stop sharing my screen, but I think, oh, I can make you guys a host, right?
Yeah.
That way I can leave the meeting without ending it. Make host. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you once again. Have a great night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Is there any questions regarding the RBC overview of bond sales?
I think we're getting a good feel.
Yeah, the interest rate is really good. Yeah.
Less than 1%, and then
Next item is retirement of Jersey.
Yes, sir.
so, Alyssa and I had approached Dr. Lucas a couple of months ago about the possibility of retiring there in Jared's jersey. And now that football season is almost coming to an end, the numbers currently being used. So now that season is almost coming to an end, I wanted to see what you guys thought. Any thoughts on the possibility of us retiring this number, and the possibility in the future doing something, displaying it out there at the field or something. I want to see what you guys thought.
The way most retirements work, the jersey will be framed and number will no longer be used. And, just like a flag honor. Service.
Personally, I think it's a good idea, Mr. Bones, Mrs. Stewart. It's awesome.
I just felt, I know Joe and I had this discussion of, we feel like something had to be done. As far as the school, he was he was a great student. He was, part of the championship team in football, and we wish we could probably do more, but I think this would be a good thing to do in his honor.
It's a good start.
Exactly.
My only thing, I just want to make sure we're acting cautiously.
Well, and we would need to talk to the parents.
I want to take exactly that's it. I just want
But
to.
they're okay with that as well.
Exactly.
And the timing too, whatever they want to do. I just don't want. Exactly. Exactly. And then I think too, the county probably has something. I think I heard the city might have something in the pipeline
Yeah,
too.
I think it's on the agenda. Wednesday.
If we could maybe talk to the county and city too, you see if we could do it the same day, if that's a thing too.
Well, on ours, I kind of thought we'd do it like at the beginning of the football season next year. It's, like the first home game.
I mean, that's probably me too. Yeah. My only thing is, as long as the parents sign off.
Right. No, we wouldn't do anything if they didn't want to do.
We can put it back on the agenda for next month with another discussion and see where we're at, and then we can move forward from there.
I agree.
Sounds good.
That sounds good.
Good idea.
Thank you guys for the consideration.
So we'll go ahead and we'll just ask that this be added on as a discussion item for next month's meeting.
Would you need those, reach out?
Yeah, we'll get.
Thank you, guys. Next item under discussions is city school zone improvements.
Yeah, so last board meeting, we were asking questions and we sort of put it on the agenda just to see if we had any more. We've done the city's done the speed bumps at RBT, the stop signs are back up. We haven't got flashing lights or the.
No, those beacons
That's
are
Everything
working.
works.
Probably
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
And I heard it just got pulled in gear a couple of times, but
Yeah.
it's not noticeable.
Well, and the stop signs, my understanding was when the high school was built, we asked them to be removed. But then people just kind of speed through here, so we asked.
I knew it was going crazy.
Yeah.
At the game, I was like, whoa.
They're kidding, I don't know. So I mess on.
I thought it was
I'm like,
too
oh.
Well, it's kind of weird because it doesn't look like it's a place for us.
And there used to be,
There used to be.
yeah,
It's just getting used to them again.
yeah. And I think the city is really, they really stepped up and
Yeah.
helped us.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
We
I really
appreciate that.
appreciate the efforts that went into getting those done and as quickly as they did.
Yes, And I think they just bring more of a positive effect on what we were trying to accomplish, and that's slow down traffic. The light, I mean, you could go
Yeah,
through the light, the
yeah.
speed bump is gonna stop.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. It's way slower now.
Yeah.
I've noticed a big difference, even in the way that the traffic flows through the parking lot.
Yeah, no, I think it's been very helpful.
Next item, action item approval of amended transportation fleet services contract.
Right, so we had a couple of new students, move out to CPAR, so that's where we have to go, so it increases our cost to the contractor. So it raises ours from, the initial one was $221,988. It kicks it up to $251,489, difference of $29,500. And that's because of the additional mileage, you know.
Is there any questions regarding the amendment to the transportation fleet service contract? There's no questions. I will go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the amended transportation fleet service contract.
So move, Madam Chair.
Motion by Mr. Morelos. May I get a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mrs. Escobar. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. With all business of the Lordsburg Municipal School Board being taken care of, this meeting is adjourned.